Guys, it's Margaret with Sassy Southern Shopper Mom. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Today's video is my homemade pumpkin pie recipe. I do not make my crust from scratch, but I do make everything else from scratch. And let me take you along and show you how I do it. But first, let me tell you a little bit about my channel. I post videos, anything ranging from coupons, hauls, and deals, cooking, cleaning, or anything that I might encounter in my day-to-day life as a mom. If any of that interests you, just hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any of my content. And if you hit the bell, it will remind you anytime I post something. These are the items that you're going to need: a tablespoon, a teaspoon. You're going to need a measuring cup, some of these little baking ceramic little single serve cups, a mixing bowl and something to mix with, brown sugar, you need some eggs, pumpkin pie spice mix, evaporated milk. I purchased pre-made pie crust. You'll need that as well unless you make your own, or you can put that in a pie pan and make it crustless. Some Cool Whip, and again some pumpkins and some salt in your blender. First things first, we're going to have a pan lined with some tin foil. We need to get our pumpkins cooked. I'm going to go ahead and preheat our oven for 425 degrees. And then just get the pumpkins on the pan and get them in the oven. And we will then go ahead and set a timer for 45 minutes. So once you remove the pumpkins from the oven after 45 minutes, you want to go ahead and let them sit there for about 20 minutes so they can cool down a little bit so you can handle them. Once the pumpkins have sat for 20 minutes and now you're able to handle them a little more, you want to go ahead and remove the stumps from the pumpkins. Cut them in half and spoon out all of the seeds. Then if you would like to take the skin off the pumpkins, you can do so, or you can leave that skin on. It will provide more of a deeper pumpkin pie color, and it will add a little texture to your pumpkin pie. And then you want to go ahead and just put everything over into your blender. And then you want to go ahead and get that pureed up. I have a puree setting on my blender. If you do not have a puree setting, you can blend it until it becomes a puree of however thick or thin you want your puree to be for your pumpkin pie. I kind of like it to be on the thicker side. It helps the pie set up a little more when it's baking in the oven. We're going to go ahead and take 2 cups of the pumpkin puree and add it into our mixing bowl. We're going to go ahead and open up our 12-ounce can of evaporated milk and pour that in with the puree and then gently mix it up together. Now we're going to go ahead and crack our 2 large eggs and put them in and get them mixed in as well. And as y'all saw, I dropped half of the eggshell into the pumpkin pie mix. Comment down below and tell me how many times you have dropped eggshells in something, and even baked eggshell in something. I'm usually pretty good about being able to get the pieces out because I am just OCD like that. But yeah, I'm so glad it wasn't like a small piece and it was actually a big piece that was easy to take out of the pie mix. Now we're going to go ahead and measure out 3/4 a cup of packed brown sugar and add that in and get that mixed up. Now we are going to go ahead and put 2 tablespoons of the pumpkin spice seasoning into the puree mix, and then we are going to go ahead and put 1 teaspoon of salt into the puree mix, and then we're going to go ahead and combine that completely. Now on a lined baking sheet, I am placing my pie crust, and then the 3 containers for I can do some crustless pumpkin pies as well. With my pumpkin pie crust, I do not have a little ring to go around the outer edge to prevent the crust from burning or cooking too much, so I'm just going to go ahead and rip some tin foil off and get that part of my crust covered for it does not burn while it's in the oven. And then we're going to go ahead and fill up the pie crust and the 3 containers and get everything into the oven. Once all the pie filling has been put in the crust and the containers, I'm now putting it into the oven, which has been preheated to 400 degrees. Everything is going to bake at 400 degrees for 45 minutes. Now that everything is done baking, I'm going to go ahead and pull everything out of the oven and let it sit on the stove top until it cools off where it can be served. I'm also going to go ahead and take that tin foil off the crust of my pie for it does not get stuck. It did stick in one spot, but the crust piece I was able to slide back into place. So once it cools, it can be served with some Cool Whip, or if you like your pumpkin pie hot, you can go ahead and eat it while it's hot once it cools down so it doesn't burn your mouth. Alright guys, so that is it. That is how I make my homemade pumpkin pie. Again, you can put this in a pie crust or you can put it in individual little serving containers to have crustless pies. You can put it in a bigger pie pan with no crust to make a big crustless pie. I prefer it without a crust, but I make it both ways for my family. But I hope that you found this video encouraging and inspiring in your day-to-day life. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. I've got some other holiday stuff that will be coming up this holiday season, and I hope that you will join my family and come along with me. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.